Kevin here with ground force metal detecting. Um, this video is going to be about the reality of metal detecting for beginners. First, I do want to take a second here and thank you for watching my videos and thank you for the comments and participation that I get. I take it personally and I am doing this not for any aspiration of making money, but I really genuinely want to help people. If I make a video and it helps one person with something, or somebody has an aha because they didn't know a certain thing, or maybe they just enjoyed watching it, that was worth my time. And I do want to say that I really appreciate you and your comments. Even you, Mr. Negative, and you know who you are, but I don't mind your comments either. Uh, Keep it coming. I can take it. But anyway, thank you, and that's all I have to say about that right now. Um, let's talk about metal detecting for beginners and the reality of it. And here's the thing about this hobby, metal detecting, right? You're gonna get a metal detector, and well, first I have made a video recently on the metal detector to select as a beginner if you're looking to figure out which metal detector to buy. And also, I made a video recently on what to do with your metal detector you bought on day one. How do you get sort of initiated into what to do and how the heck do you get started with this? Uh, Also, have a video on how to find places to metal detect using aerial photos if you're interested in that. But you're not going to go out your first day and find a bag of money. Um, it's a development skill, so you have to kind of practice and train your brain, train your ear, train your arm. You'll develop your swing skill and your pinpointing skill. You'll develop your ear to kind of recognize different targets. You develop your brain to recognize the behavior of your detector. And it's important to learn a single detector. They say 100 hours before you've mastered a detector. I don't know if it takes 100 hours. And you want to stick with it. And if your detector has a whole plethora of sound profiles, pick one that you like the best and use that all the time. And that's kind of the key to training your brain is consistency. But you're not going to go out and find a bag of money the first day. But here's how it'll happen. You'll go out and you're going to find that one first cool target. That's wow, that's the best thing I ever found. And now you're sucked in. Now you're addicted. And maybe you'll get so addicted like I was that you're just going to keep upgrading your metal detector until you can't upgrade anymore, which is where I'm at. Uh, but you know that depends on your situation. So metal detecting, you have to realize that you have to recognize the conditions, and that's another thing you're going to learn as you go. Remember, you don't have to be a master your first day, and you're not going to be. Um, but the fun of it, part of the fun of it, is developing and get a metal detector a little above your level. Get one that you don't quite understand all the settings. That's fine. They all have presets nowadays. You can go out and just start metal detecting on the preset. You don't have to know all the little nuances and what stabilizer does and what iron ferrous limits do, and you don't need to know all that to start out. Okay, and maybe your detector has those and maybe it doesn't. Um, it all depends. Just remember that there's never an always in metal detecting, and there's not a never in metal detecting. Everything is subjective. Everything depends on the situation, and it's going to vary. What sounds like one thing in the ground one day is going to sound different another day. Um, the metal detecting, uh, your detector signal to you is almost always it's information for you to make an educated guess. A lot of the detecting happens up here, and a lot of the target identification happens at the end of the shovel. Okay, so at first, definitely at first, learn by digging. Okay, learn what those targets are by digging them up, and get you're going to get a feel for it. And locations everything. If you're in a certain location and you're getting a bunch of you could be getting a bunch of pull tabs, but don't discriminate those out. I mean, just you got to decide if it's worth digging 1,000 pull tabs to find that gold ring, because every pull tab could be a gold ring, and that's just one example. Uh, you're going to dig a lot of trash. And you're going to find a lot of cool stuff that you thought was trash, or you thought could easily be very likely trash. And look, you got a piece of jewelry. That happened to me lots of times. And don't be afraid to play with your settings. Don't go hog wild, cranking settings uh, up and down. Just bear in mind that every single setting on a metal detector has a repercussion. Okay, if you crank up sensitivity, you're going to go deeper. That's the positive, but you're going to get more noise. That's the negative. There's a repercussion to every setting on a metal detector. There's nothing that is an advantage only. Okay, everything has an advantage and a disadvantage. And as you learn, you'll learn those, and you'll find um, a happy medium. Okay, almost every setting is all about that happy medium. So, that's the reality of it. You're going to find a lot of trash, and you're going to find some treasure. Probably a 95 to 5 ratio. But take some patience. Don't be in it to try to go out and get rich, 'cause um, I mean, it might happen, but kind of doubtful. You know, you're gonna do it for the fun. Do it for the fun. Do it for the exercise, getting out there, the whole zoning out thing of it. That's probably half of it for me. I get out there, metal detect, and once I put those headphones on, um, I am hyper focused on the sound, and sort of all the background stress of day to day life fades out a little bit. Okay. Can't think about problems when you're focusing on a sound. Metal detecting is sort of like fishing. People that go fishing like the peace and quiet. You like nature. You like getting out there, getting the air, fresh air, and it's the analogy continues. So like when you're fishing, sort of like you're sitting there, you're sitting there, you're sitting there, you're sitting there. And in metal detecting, you're swinging, you're swinging, you're swinging. And then bam, you get a bite, right? And it's that surge of adrenaline and probably a little surge of dopamine in your brain, and even with that bite, right? That bite is that tone, right? You get that tone, and that's just like getting that fish bite. And once you reel it in, you might have a spare tire, or you might have that trophy bass. It's a great analogy for metal detecting. But anyway, that's kind of my video for today, uh, or for this morning. I might make another one today. I don't know. See how my mood strikes me. But hey, everybody, have a great day. Thank you again. Get out there and metal detect and find something good and swing away.